And we are live. Hey guys, how you doing? It's Jose Slider here. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're just going to be talking just random stuff. We haven't been on air for a while, so it's going to kind of feeling out process. And tonight you got Brandon with me.
Hey guys.
Right. And in addition to Brandon, we have a newbie. We have Brian.
Hey, what's up?
All right. So this is his first time, so give him shit. So basically, the way this came about was I've been doing some silly stuff over on Facebook. I've been broadcasting my drive home from work while talking about whatever people wanted me to talk about. And then Brandon had some things he wanted to talk about, and then he was like, God damn it, we need to do a broadcast. So here we are. This is his fault.
Well, no. I suggested two things, and you were like, that's going to take way too long to do in a drive. And,
well, yeah, my drive home is only like 10 minutes.
And so then
I have
was
a
like,
45-minute drive.
Yeah, no,
I have a 50-minute drive. I was, because of you, Jose, I was thinking of doing a live stream from my car.
So, like, I live 3 miles from work right now, so, like, it's literally on the same street. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and let Brandon take it from here because the topics that we first came up with are his, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Well, the first topic was, what do you think is going to start happening in Marvel's Phase 4 for the MCU? We know they're closing it out with Avengers 2 and 3, and they're going to toss in Captain Marvel and a Black Panther movie, and we know Thor's coming up next month.
Well, remember, Phase 3 does not end until 2019. So,
yeah.
You know, we still got a whole nother year of Phase 3 before we even start thinking about what's going to happen in Phase 4. And frankly, I think it's going to diverge pretty significantly from what people are expecting to see based on the comics. Because, I mean, they've done that already. They've taken a lot of things, and a lot of this has to do with rights to characters and stuff like that. And they've made changes necessary to bring it to the big screen. So it's really hard to say what they're going to do with Phase 4, because Phase 4 might take the MCU in a completely different direction than the print comics.
Well, we know they're going to... Oh, go ahead.
Well, and it depends on how well the Spider-Man movies do with the Sony-Marvel partnership. Potentially, Fox will be, hey, you want some more of the X-Men, introduce them back into the MCU and see how well that combination goes. I mean...
Well, see, here's the issue with that. Sony basically got backed into a corner because their movies were tanking, particularly the Fantastic Four movies. And they, you know, when they got hacked, they had so much stuff get released into the wild that they were basically shitting their pants. So Marvel took the opportunity and basically said, hey, why don't we do this? And they agreed. So there's this weird thing. Understand, Spider-Man is in the MCU, but he is not a Marvel property in terms of films right now. It's stupidly complicated. But Fox is making a ton of fucking money with the X-Men franchise.
Oh, well,
so
they're retiring.
No incentive.
They're retiring Wolverine, so I mean, Deadpool's carrying a lot of the weight now.
Yeah, but I don't think they're actually going to retire Wolverine. They're going to recast him.
That's a terrible move right now, and they anchor on him for the X-Men movies.
It really is. It's kind of like
get another 2 movies, but I think that they're going to just be shit.
Say that again?
I think that Fox will do another 2 X-Men type movies with a group, but I think they're going to end up being shit without Wolverine to anchor on.
I don't know. I mean, Apocalypse wasn't great, but I liked it. But I've liked all of the new X-Men movies that have come out. I like them more so than the last movies of the original trilogy.
I really like Days of Future Past, but yeah. I did not like Apocalypse.
I
There's
like
a couple of
Flash.
small things in there that I liked,
They
but the rest
They
of
had
it
to
was
change
garbage.
They had to change the way he looked entirely because everyone was saying he looked like Doctor Ooze or
But he was
Oz.
purple instead of.
He did. He looked like freaking Ooze from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was when.
But
As soon as the images dropped on the internet, everyone made that connection, and then they reshot half the movie.
well, no, they didn't reshoot. That was done digitally.
Yeah, they edited it.
Even better.
But I mean, all that really was color correction. That's not that big of a deal because they didn't change the prosthetics or anything like that. You know, I mean, really, what was that?
No, I mean, eventually, if they don't sell their movies well, they could. But I think they're safe for Fox keeping the rights. That is, I think they're safe in keeping those rights for the next at least 4 or 5 years.
But see, how detrimental was the Sony leak? The leak from the email link.
Oh, it was super severe.
Because I think that the Amazing Spider-Man, I thought was really good. With who was the last Spider-Man? Yeah, I didn't mind Andrew Garfield. I thought the first one that he was in was great. The second one they were trying to shoehorn too many villains in, like they always try to do. That's been their track record. So.
Well, that's all up to the director because I mean, if you look at Spider-Man: Homecoming, there was 5 villains in that.
There was only one main villain.
Right, there was only one main villain, but there was 5 villains. Well, actually, no, there was 2 main villains because you had Vulture and Shocker. Or not Shocker. Yeah, Shocker.
See, the way I look at it anyway is, you know, Shocker worked for Vulture. So it's kind of like saying the Hand.
But I mean, Shocker did work for various others in the comics.
Well, yeah, I understand that.
And plus, you had Tinkerer. Tinkerer wasn't an upfront guy, but Tinkerer never really is.
But he's there, but he doesn't really have a whole lot of. He doesn't have a whole lot of a story arc, whereas.
Right. Because he doesn't play the main villain, right?
Well, my point was that it can be done without. I guess it just depends on how the writing and directing is.
Well, yeah, I mean, it always depends on how good the writing is, but. I think Fox is going to hold on to X-Men until we probably hold dead hands. Yeah. And Marvel, I don't know if they're still actively doing this, but Marvel actually went and took some steps. I mean, why do you think Inhumans is coming out? Inhumans is the X-Men replacement because they don't have the rights to say mutant.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't. They're doing that in terms of getting people to maybe recognize the name, but the Inhumans have been around for way, way, way longer than anything recent.
I understand that, but we're talking about the film universe now.
But right? They've also taken steps in the comics to let X-Men as a franchise basically die and separate itself from Marvel.
Oh yeah, so they're backing off on X-Men. They stopped Fantastic Four altogether. Fox does not have the rights to sell toys for the X-Men universe, so that's why you don't see any toys from the X-Men movies being sold. So, like, you know, they're basically trying to put a stranglehold on them to get that property back. You know, but until Fox stops making money, until it's not lucrative for them, they're not going to let go of X-Men.
It's going to be a number of strikes. We're going to give them X number of chances, and then
what's their next movie planned even?
Say that again, Brandon?
What's their next movie that's planned anyway, outside of Deadpool 2?
Like, what's the next X-Men movie?
Yeah, isn't there going to be another one? Or do
they have Phoenix.
What?
It's the Phoenix Saga.
Oh, they're actually doing that's confirmed?
That is what is in development.
All right. They're going to be fucking terrible.
Have they done casting? Have they released casting or anything like that?
I think it's going to be First Class. So it's going to be Sansa from Game of Thrones, which actually she did an okay Jean Grey.
I could have done with more from her because she's obviously got the acting chops. You see her in Game of Thrones. Like, you know, half the time I'm watching her, I'm like, God damn it, Sansa! So she's convincing me that that she's doing some stupid shit. But
it's gonna come down. Make or break is gonna be writing, and
yeah, of course.
Their last movie did not prove well enough in terms of writing, I think. There was a couple moments, but
see, here's the thing you gotta understand. It doesn't have to be good to make money. Look at the fucking Transformers franchise. Look at how much money that stupid-ass franchise has made. And they are terrible fucking movies.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. You got me there.
So
yeah,
as long as
for a long time.
Yeah, as long as they're bringing money in, they're going to keep pumping this shit out because people are going to keep paying for it.
Well, the Transformers movies, they invest a lot in advertisement. Like, they advertise like a shitload, and eventually Fox is not going to be able to put as much capital into advertisement for their X-Men movies if they're not bringing in subsequent money.
Yeah, eventually, but that could be decades. That could be 20 years from now before that happens.
Well, I mean, look at the cycle with Transformers now. Like, aren't they already looking at redoing the whole?
Yes, because Michael Bay is talking about stepping away, and they want it to be good.
Is he stepping away voluntarily, or is it just because they've decided, hey, Michael Bay has done this spin, like Christopher Nolan did with Batman, and now it's time for him to, pass on the torch?
He's gotten so much shit over the Transformers movies that he has said that he was willing to step away. But he was supposed to step away for The Last Knight, and he ended up not doing it. So it's really kind of up to him. And, I love the Transformers. The Transformers is one of my favorite comic books, God damn it, my favorite cartoons from when I was a kid. And what he has done to the franchise is a fucking tragedy, in my opinion. I remember when they made the first movie and Optimus Prime transforms and he says it, the line for the first time. He's like, I am Optimus Prime. Now he says that shit like 80 times. Right?
Yeah, it's a catchphrase. They have to sell. They're trying to sell that nostalgia to you.
Yeah, and it's failing because the movies are terrible. Terrible. I'm so angry at those movies. I mean, the only thing that's worse than that is like Star Trek.
I was waiting for Brandon.
Well, Brandon?
Hey, you liked the third one.
I did like the third one. The third one was actually a decent film.
So, at least you like the actors.
It is maintained. You know what? Fuck you. Because I started liking the actors in other things. So I actually have some respect for Chris Pine now. I don't think he's a good Kirk. Let's not go crazy.
That's because, just like I've always said, you like the 60s swag Kirk, which is no longer in, so it looks stupid now. Kirk has the newer generation swag.
The postmodern now.
Yeah.
Well, my issue was they turned Kirk into a fucking cartoon character. It's like
before.
I think that might be a generational thing, Jose.
It literally was because Star Trek the Animated Series.
No, so listen. The original series which is what you're harping on, right? Was done in a more theatrical manner, like more like a stage show than a TV production. So
but that's no longer something that it's in. And then it was done for Kirk to connect with your current generation at that point,
which was terrible. I'm not gonna say that was good.
No, but that was the intent, and so that was their intent with the new Kirk, was to connect with the current generation.
They basically said we're rebooting it. People freaked the fuck out. They're like, no, it's not a reboot. It's an alternate timeline. Except they didn't play by their own fucking rules. So no, it's not an alternate timeline. It's a whole different goddamn story.
I love Jose getting all upset about this.
Between the both of you.
And he's the one who started it.
So anyway,
But
Dude,
so,
Ryan,
but the only thing I
last
can
time he
add,
was
the only
watching-
thing I can add to that is I think that they wanted to reboot, not necessarily reboot it, but bring it to a new generation of viewers into something that the viewer can latch onto and feel more comfortable with than the one Jose has a nostalgia boner for.
It's not like that at all. It's and what you're saying is right. They wanted to make it appeal to a new generation, and I get that. But what they did was they turned Star Trek into a popcorn action series, and it was never that. It might have been a lot of things. It was never a popcorn action series. There was always something real and underlying about the story that they were going through. They weren't all good. I'm not going to say that.
I will give you partially that, but not quite when you look at the movies. The movies were more action because they're movies. These were movies, not a new series.
Yes, but they all had some type of point to them. Star Trek 3 had the whole save the whales bullshit in it, which, while not great, wasn't bad. Star Trek 4, the Search for God, or whatever the hell it's called, that I don't want to talk about that. The Undiscovered Country.
That's the one we just forget about.
The Undiscovered Country is actually quite good.
It's
Actually,
a great job explaining how great it is.
what is that?
Whales and God. That's awesome.
So, but the point of the story was larger than the individual things that we were looking at. Whereas in the new series, it's about the characters, it's about the hero, it's about they're trying to bring gravitas just through the character interaction and not through the larger story. I think the original Star Trek suffered from too many villains as well. Not the original. I'm sorry, the second Star Trek, because they had Khan and they had the Admiral. Who the fuck made the decision to let Khan share screen time? Why are we talking about Star Trek? This is supposed to be MCU.
I don't know how we ended up here either. It just happened. But, so I guess because they're not going to get Fox anytime soon, we know that they're and we know it'll be during Phase 4 that there's going to be an Adam Warlock movie.
We know that? Wait, how do we know that?
Because
I thought there was mention of them doing an
yeah,
Adam
has
Warlock.
been mentioned.
it was in the after credits for Guardians 2.
No. I don't
Right?
just mean by showing the character. I mean actually making an Adam Warlock movie. I've heard mention of it, but they said they just didn't know what year it was going to be. And
Well, I
there's
don't think they would
nothing-
push that back.
Well,
until-
not back, but there's nothing left between now and what we know of the movie lineup until the end of Phase 3. Because we know the whole movie lineup until the end of Phase 3.
Right. So
Well,
So that only leaves him for Phase 4.
never mind.
Infinity War goes too, because that's probably gonna leave us That's probably gonna leave us with a lot of cliffhangers. I guarantee it.
Say that again.
Infinity War 1 and 2.
Yeah.
How it's gonna impact the whole MCU.
See, here's the thing, though. I cannot fathom a scenario where they would be willing to take Infinity War as far as it went in the comics because the characters are too valuable. And I think what they're going to end up doing is going to piss off a lot of people, but I'm sure it'll still be a good movie. Like, they built Thanos up for so long, right? I don't even know how they're going to live up to the Thanos hype, because I don't think he's going to do this and kill half the universe, you know?
Dude, if that happens, I will lose my mind. That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Ballsiest move ever, and I will stand up and cheer. I think that's great.
But it would be undone. So, I mean,
really.
Well, yeah, it would be undone, but I mean, that's what we're expecting. We're expecting it to be undone. But
Yeah.
for them to have the balls to do it in the first place, you got to give Marvel like if they do it, that would be amazing.
Because only the sweaty nerds like us know. Well, it's going to be fine. It's going to get undone. Somebody's going to fix this, right? The casual viewer is going to be like, "How did they just kill off Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America?" It's like, why do I even want to see the next movie? I
just want Infinity War Part 2 to just end with like Deadpool killing Thanos. It's like, hey, everybody, and just stabs him in the back.
And in case it's not apparent, Ryan's a bit of a Deadpool fan. But you want to see the whole Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe?
Oh, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. They're doing another one of those series.
What character?
With Deadpool. It's just he kills the Marvel Universe again.
Oh,
Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe again. Is literally what they're calling it, I think.
That's kind of like Secret Wars happening again, and they need to start writing new stories.
Well, they did.
It's a spin-off.
The old Secret Wars only was like a short little series that you could mostly leave out where they kept a couple of key moments, but the new Secret Wars rebooted the entire universe. It all ended. It was fucking great.
Well, that's neither here nor there, but I don't see them taking that move with the films. I'd love them to, and the off chance that Marvel sees this, fucking do it, grow some balls and fucking kill everybody, just like in the comics.
I think that Iron Man may actually die permanently.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it would give him the chance to bring in the new girl who's holding is it Ironheart?
Yeah, Iron Maiden. Or maybe it is Ironheart. I don't know.
I think it's Ironheart. Iron Maiden sounds
like the band,
too corny, like the band.
But I mean, I would love to see that. I don't see it happening.
I don't think they're going to keep doing Iron Man movies. And
what I want to see them do is I want to see them expand into a lot of the lesser known characters and flesh them out and make them
like what they did with Netflix. I think that was really good, and that's why they had the success with the Netflix series.
We know that there's going to be a Guardians 3 in Phase 4.
Yes.
And they've confirmed that if there happens to be another Guardians movie after that, it's going to be a different crew of Guardians.
Wait, the original Guardians? Like they teased at the end of Guardians 2?
Maybe, but they didn't specify whether they were going to do that or just other characters that have been in Guardians.
I will kill myself if I have to watch Sylvester Stallone for an entire movie just because it's a Guardians movie. I will.
Now, but I want to see a good Captain Marvel movie done, right? It's like I want them to flesh out.
Well, they're doing Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I know, but I want it to be good, is what I'm saying. I want a good fleshing out of Black Panther and the whole Wakanda universe.
See, now that can.
We'll see that before Infinity War, right?
The whole Black Panther universe, yes. Well, no.
We'll see the
yes
first
and
one.
No. We're going to see Black Panther in February, and then Infinity War 1 in May.
Right.
And then they're going to have Ant-Man in July and Captain Marvel in November.
I would like to see them, I said this the other day, and people were laughing at me, but I kind of want to see Squirrel Girl brought to the screen.
Oh, yeah. I said the same thing. As many Squirrel Girls as there was at Dragon Con, that would be amazing.
Yes.
I'd like to see that Marvel or Captain Marvel is going to be set in the 90s.
I hadn't heard that.
The movie will take place entirely during the 90s.
Well, wait a second. Didn't they say that in Doctor Strange, the reference to a girl that had been hit by lightning and I forget what the rest of it was supposed to be about Captain Marvel?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I haven't heard that. It's just because maybe I haven't seen it.
That could just be a rumor, but that's what I heard. let's see, who else would I like to see? God, there's a few of them I wouldn't mind them, fleshing out. Even if they right now they've got this whole every character has to have their own franchise thing. I wouldn't mind seeing some one-off movies where,
Well, they're crossing over Hulk with Thor, and then I can't wait to see that movie. And I'm assuming that if that does well, on
that's going
weekend release, and it is, then they're gonna do more movies like that, and in that same architecture,
Yeah, but what I was getting at was I'd like to see more, like a few standalone movies where they get a character that's there, it's their movie for one movie and that's it, right? I don't think Captain Marvel necessarily needs 3 movies. A Squirrel Girl, I don't think she needs to have 3 movies. I think it'd be okay to have some standalone story arcs that incorporate other people, kind of like the way Winter Soldier did, like the way Spider-Man did, where you had Iron Man.
Well, look at the next Ant-Man. I mean, Ant-Man was a good standalone movie, and the next Ant-Man isn't just Ant-Man. It's going to have the Wasp, and so the focus is on 2 characters instead of just the one.
I think it's going to be on 4 characters because I think they're going to get Janet Van Dyne back.
Who?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Is that not right? Is it Janet Pym?
Yes.
I know she's his wife, but she had his last name.
Or I don't know. Maybe.
I thought it was Janet Van Dyne. But anyway.
No, it could be Van Dyne. You're right. No, you're right.
The original Wasp.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm pretty sure they're going to get her out of the microverse.
And then what? We'll have 2 Wasp?
And then we'll have the original Ant-Man and Wasp and the new Ant-Man and Wasp.
I don't see Michael Douglas doing more movies, though.
That's where that's going.
Come on. Michael Douglas doing his own stunts, man. It's going to be great.
Yeah, about that. But so at any rate, I think we've kind of beat this one into the ground. What was your next topic, Brandon?
Is Luke going to die in episode 8?
Fuck no. No, he's not going to die in episode 8. No, shut up.
Now, I know that we don't want him to as fans. I don't want him to die, but I know, but I'm pretty sure that by the end of the trilogy that they're going to have to kill him. I'm just hoping that they see.
I'm okay with him dying at the end of 9 in some ridiculously heroic fashion.
Yes, that I would be okay with, but
I don't want him to fucking do what Obi-Wan did and go, oh, well, I guess if I die now, I can be a more powerful Force user. Like, no, fuck that. Luke Skywalker has to die an old man in his bed surrounded by fat grandbabies.
But you know that they very well could do it.
What's that?
You know that they very well could just do it, though. And
I don't think they could. I think they will. Especially with the passing of Carrie Fisher. Because now we can't have Leia. We don't have Han anymore. So it's only appropriate, I think, that they eventually kill off Luke, but not in episode 8.
That's what I'm saying. I think it might be. I think they might actually do it.
Yeah.
How shocked will you be if Luke fucking dies in the first 5 minutes?
Well, no, he can't die within the first 5 minutes because they had to have the whole training montage of Rey.
Hey, montages can be squished into a short time frame. No, so and if they're trying to stick to the original heroes' story arcs like they did with episode 7,
and I don't think they will.
It's very possible that Luke dies in the middle of episode 8 because that's Obi-Wan's arc. So, and I'm not interested in seeing that. Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker are 2 different characters. They don't need to follow the same path. And shut your dirty whore mouth, Brandon.
I have to agree with Brandon. So, I think
I don't want them to, but I'm afraid that they're going to do it. Like I think that they're actually going to do it and upset everyone.
Well, it depends on how they execute it. I mean, if they just kill him off like they did with Han Solo, then
Oh,
I see why fans would be upset. But if
I mean,
if Rey got there too early, like if there was a reason that Luke was hiding, and Rey got there earlier than she should have been, or if
you're
another
talking about
in-line.
Luke being in the dark side.
No, not Luke being in the dark side. If Luke had a plan for being out, and a reason for being isolated, unlike how Yoda isolated himself because of what order was it that all the Jedi were killed? Order 66. If Luke had a plan to be out there and he'd left these trail of breadcrumbs to find him, and when Rey showed up, the look of astonishment on his face was because it's too early. Then, because Luke's been around long enough to know if there's a disturbance in the Force. Because at the time that when he was a Jedi, there was only Sidious and Vader. So, not Sidious and Vader, Palpatine and Vader, he would know if something big was happening. He would know. Like he knew.
You would think. I don't disagree with you, but remember, and I'm going to use a dirty word here, in the prequels, Yoda talked about how they were basically blind to what was going on around them because they were being shrouded in darkness by the dark side. So we don't know. There might be something or someone out there that's pulling strings to shroud things, to keep things in darkness. Now, I'm going to derail that here for a second and ask this question. What do you think the odds are we see Luke wielding a red lightsaber?
I
really want to see.
I don't think that's as important as the fact that with the new trailer, they said that the Jedi need to end, and I know on the internet everyone's been going, oh, we want to see gray Jedi, or we want to see gray Force wielders, and I think that's the direction that Luke wants to take the Jedi into, is the gray territory.
I think that, and that'd be awesome. I'd love to see that again. Another reason not to kill him off in Episode 8. But like we've already seen in the original trilogy, Luke used dark side forces. The Force choke. So I said dark side forces, dark side powers. So I'd be fucking stoked to see some lightning come out of Luke Skywalker's fingers, and I would love to see him dual wield the green saber and the red saber.
Vader saber.
Yes. I think that would be fucking phenomenal. I would lose my mind.
That I think might happen.
You thought I got emotional at the end of Episode 7? I might just like
where you forgave rather, J.J. Abrams for Star Trek.
Well,
I did.
Now, I say forgive me for my ignorance, but I know the internet never forgives anyone of their ignorance. But the way they made canon, the creation of the red light of a red lightsaber. Do you think Luke would be comfortable with wielding something like that?
Well,
or would it depend on how the crystal was made? That Luke would be, oh, okay, all right, I'm comfortable using this one.
Well, I think if they indeed took him down the path of the Greys, you got to think about the Grey Credo. It's like there is no light, there is no dark, there's only the Force. So
yeah,
how it came to
still
be important is how it's used, in my opinion. So,
what about you, Brandon?
Brandon.
Brandon.
I don't think he would have a problem using it.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be an issue, especially if it's the crystal from Vader's saber.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
Technically, if you're talking about what a Saber's done, look at all the children that Rey's has killed. Rey's lightsaber killed a lot of kids.
yeah.
A lot of kids.
At least that's what we're led to believe. You don't know. There might have been this whole scene cut out where he's like, "All right, kids, run away."
He just used gas. He just used gas. He used mustard gas. You know, space mustard gas.
Yes.
Force mustard gas.
Or if you just like force grabbed one kid and just beat the rest of the kids with that kid. I think that would have been.
Yeah, look, it was him.
But yeah, no, that's something I'd really like to see. And again, I don't. So I was really, even though I liked the movie and I liked the reveal, I was so pissed he had no lines at all in fucking episode 7.
I thought it was great.
No, fuck that noise. So
I didn't mind it that much that it didn't have.
that bothered the shit out of me. I mean,
I
not
thought it was.
one.
I thought it was the perfect. I thought it was the perfect cliffhanger. Because no one died. No one's like held in like some sort of like.
No one. What do you mean no one died? Han Solo died.
Yeah, but that wasn't the cliffhanger of the movie. The cliffhanger was left on Luke.
So at any rate, that's kind of how I see things. How I think things are going to go. So I think they'll keep him. Now I'm thinking from a business standpoint. I think money-wise, they want Luke Skywalker to stay until the end of this trilogy to A, bring people in, and 2, to solidify the new characters that it's their franchise.
I got a counterpoint.
What's that?
Go to Target and tell me how many Luke Skywalker action figures there are. Because last I checked when I took my son, they didn't have any. Like they want to push Finn and Rey to being the new figureheads of the franchise.
Well, what the fuck are the kids? If you buy a Luke Skywalker figure from Episode 7, what are they going to do? They're just going to hold him and not say anything because he's never done anything and they don't know what to do with him.
Exactly, and that's they're gonna. Are they gonna have to introduce him into?
There's gonna be toys soon.
To the point where he's a recognizable figure for a new generation of Star Wars movie watchers.
Let me tell you something. After all this time, after all this build-up, I don't care whether he's light, dark, gray. If Luke Skywalker doesn't fucking wreck some shop in Episode 8, there's gonna be able to pay by someone somewhere somehow.
Oh, I'm sure.
I do want to see him fight, like real bad.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gonna kick some ass, but it's probably gonna get him killed.
Shut up.
Sorry for the truth.
So I'll use this as a segue. Speaking of space stuff, did you see the new Star Trek series?
Star Trek Discovery.
Yes.
I did watch the first episode, and I was pleasantly surprised with the story. I'm actually excited to see the next episode. I was a little bummed out because now with all the streaming services, you get the whole series at once, so you can binge watch it. I was a little bummed that I have to wait a whole week to see the second episode. But that being said, my God, what the fuck is wrong with the Klingons?
I don't fucking know. Like, I was about to say, like, I can see that this story is interesting, yeah, but what the fuck? What the hell did they do to the Klingons?
Like, why do they look like fucking Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh? I mean, they look, and I don't want to get on the whole Klingons don't change, because over the years from the original series to the Next Generation, the Klingons have changed. They have changed the features.
They have, but they also explained it, though.
Yes, right. Well, there's a lot that hasn't been explained in Star Trek Discovery. We only got one fucking episode. I mean, come on. But
no, but they've shown the leaders of the houses for the Klingons, and they all look the same.
No, those were not the leaders of the houses. That was only one guy who was lighting the torch of Kalis to get the leaders of the houses together.
Holograms.
Oh, okay, the holograms, yeah. And they all do look kind of shitty. They all look like turds, but...
So, which means it can't be related to the whole genetic thing that they had going on from Enterprise.
Yeah, so I don't know. I honestly, I don't know.
It's just a redesign. I read the thing on it. It's just a redesign. That's just how they want Klingons to look now.
Oh, they look terrible, in my opinion. I mean, they really do look like.
Ryan, if you haven't seen the show, just look up Star Trek Discovery Klingon.
Yeah, look at just. They look like walking, talking turds.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, just look up pictures. You got to see this bullshit.
Also, now I might catch some shit for this because I'm not that good at it, and I know the uber nerds out there.
It's the fourth search on Google.
But I did not recognize what they were saying as Klingon when they were talking
me
first.
Me either.
I did not understand that language. Well, not that I understand Klingon, but
wait, that's what the
didn't sound
Klingon
like
looks
Klingon.
like now?
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. They look bad.
It bothered me.
Now they just look like they have like a horseshoe crab stuck to their face.
Well, Worf kind of looked like that, but
Well, no, I mean,
Why are
it's
they all
more.
bald?
Wait, like the whole shape of the face. At least the older Klingons, it was just a prosthetic added to the forehead.
yes.
Now they've done an entire like cheek and chin.
Yeah, they're. I'm not going to say that they look like the Cardassians, but they're more in the style of the Cardassians, where they had the facial prosthetics.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I'm definitely going to give it a shot, but good God, visually, I really, really dislike the Klingons. And it's probably some fucking shit tart out there that's going to be like, well, it's because you're racist. Like, hello.
Did you see the second episode or no?
I have not seen the second episode yet.
Okay.
Um,
I'll not spoil that then.
But I think it's off to a good start. Some of the comments I heard, and I don't necessarily agree with, but like one of the comments I heard was it's off to a better start than Enterprise was.
Enterprise didn't have a bad start.
It didn't have a bad start, but it didn't have an exciting start either, in my opinion. I thought this was a little more exciting. You know, they thrust right into it.
Are they tying the movies over to the new TV show?
No. This is going to be original timeline.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
the
not
other,
only that, but the Japanese captain is only your short-term captain because in the Lucius Malfoy from, I can't remember the actor's name, but Lucius Malfoy from Harry Potter.
from Crappy Potter.
Yes, Draco's dad. He's going to be the captain that's throughout.
Now, one of the things it took me a little while to catch on was I thought the second in command was supposed to be Vulcan. And for the first 5-10 minutes of the show, I was upset. I'm like, she is a terrible Vulcan. She's a terrible Vulcan. She's a terrible Vulcan. Then I figured out she wasn't Vulcan. I was like, oh, all right, I'm cool with it now.
Yeah. I knew that she was going to be basically raised by Sarek.
Right. And, that's something. Why do you have to be Sarek?
And
I like
Sarek too, but I also don't know why they made him as young as he looks, because this is only 10 years before Kirk.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was...
So he should have looked a little older.
Yeah. I'm not going to nitpick that too much, but you're right. He does, from a age perspective, he doesn't look quite right. But, I mean, aside from that, I just wish, why not introduce a new fucking Vulcan? It's such a big universe. I don't need to keep coming back to the same characters. I have high hopes for it. Let's just put it that way.
I have hopes.
Now, here's a question:
They're not high
Are
anymore.
you going? Say again?
I have hopes for it, but they're not high anymore.
So, are you going to subscribe to the CBS streaming service in order to watch it?
Unsure.
CBS.
Yeah.
CBS. It's on CBS.
CBS all access or
CBS All Access. Yes.
Wait,
that's
PBS or CBS, like the pharmacy?
Charlie Bravo Sierra.
Okay.
yeah, CBS is the TV station. CBS.
Yeah. So
Have you heard of that streaming service, Ryan?
No.
Exactly.
Neither has anybody else. Actually, I saw something put out by
Honest
Screen
Thriller.
the other day that I thought was pretty funny. They were talking about Star Trek Discovery, and they said, before we get into Discovery, which is a show about a crew that forces you to boldly subscribe to something no one has subscribed to before.
That was the honest trailers for
yes.
Star Trek.
So, like, I thought that was pretty good. But, yeah, I think this is a mistake, what they're doing. I think they should just make the show and let other distributors distribute it, like Netflix, like Amazon. You sell them for $2 an episode or whatever the fuck it is they charge. And I think that would have been a better way than trying to force people into a whole new subscriber model.
Yeah, I don't know why they said they were going to air it on TV at some point, but I don't know when.
Well, it airs on TV overseas.
Oh, I meant here in America.
Yeah. So, like, actually, I think in Canada you can watch it on regular TV. It's only in the United States that you got to pay for the subscriber service.
It's because Canadians are nicer. That's why.
Yeah. I was going to say something else, but I don't want to go there right now. But yeah, I'm not going to subscribe to it. I will find other ways to watch it. I'll go to friends' houses or whatever that are going to do that.
Well, so speaking of these shows, then, so you saw Orville, right?
One more time.
You saw Orville, right?
Yes. I've only seen the first episode of that as well, and I liked it. It was not what I was expecting it to be. A lot of people seem to have complaints about it. I think they wanted it to be more outlandishly funny, and it's not. It's just it's just a show about a organization that has a crew in space, and they do the things that they do. It does have humor in it, but it's not the slapstick type comedy that you see from Family Guy.
Yeah, and there's definitely a more seriousness to it in the following episodes.
Yeah, no, I think it's actually going to be quite a serious show that just happens to have humorous characters in it. So, and again, I think that was a good start. I'm looking forward to seeing more episodes of it. I was also, kind of like annoyed at the end of the first episode, like, I can't go to the next episode. So I think that has promise, as long as the viewers stop being so fucking nitpicky about it. Like, it's like, we want it to be more funny. It's like, we want Family Guy humor. It's like, no, that's not what this is.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Well, they sold to that audience, though. That's what. Well, I feel like they tried to sell to that audience.
It's sold to that audience because it's Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
Right.
It just had his name on it, and they saw the trailer for it, and they expected that kind of Family Guy humor. And I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. Is it got the same sort of? It's not as outlandish as, say, Rick and Morty, but no. It does have It does have a very serious tone to it, right?
Right. It has an actual more like Star Trek tone in how the overall show goes, but just
it pokes fun at
characters.
It pokes fun at the genre, and that's kind of like what Rick and Morty is.
It does and it doesn't.
I think it actually increases the genre. It just it shines a light on the more outlandish aspects of it. Kind of like, just for an example, something that they showed in one of the commercials, so it's not really a spoiler, is when he's running through the hallways and he steps on one of the crew members, who is basically just this gelatinous blob, right? that's obviously done just for comedic effect. You know, and you know,
But it's something you can see that could happen because there's a variable that
right, and that would be
character's
something
there.
you never would have seen anything like that on Star Trek.
Yeah, because they take it more serious.
Or what I found very amusing, and it is slightly of a spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler. The co-pilot, when he's like, "Hey, our last captain said that we could, you know, drink soda on the bridge. Is that still cool?" It's like, yeah, I guess, just even below the equipment. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, like they're addressing things that aren't really brought up, and they're actually things that would happen if this were a real, you know, scenario. You know, I mean, like Brandon, when we worked together at that place, it was like, you know, eating at your desk was an issue, you know, and
yeah, man, that's how you get ants.
Yeah, so that's actually something that they would have to deal with. But again, I think it has promise. I think as long as they stop trying to market it as a slapsticky, haha kind of show, I think it has the potential to be around for a while.
I think they did that more so with these second 2 episodes that are out.
Well, I'm not talking about the creators. I'm talking about the audience.
Well, yeah, I guess. I guess the audience will have to change its expectations if they're going to continue watching it. I know some people were definitely expecting the more hilarious kind of stuff, and that's not how it's going to go at all.
Because a good example of what I'm talking about is look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was meant to be a show about people without powers. And
yeah, look what happened there.
Yeah, you know. So I don't want fan clamor to make the creators go, well, we need to do this.
Well, it'll change the direction. And, I mean, it happens in every TV series. The direction will change towards the target audience. And once they have a viewer base that is steadfast, they'll cater towards them. It's fan service.
I don't think that the size of the viewer base that wants just that aspect of the show is the majority of the viewers for that type of show. I think there is a whole nother demographic of people that would be attracted to the show and be okay with the humor as long as it's, you know, got an actual cohesive storyline.
Yeah.
You know, if Seth MacFarlane starts singing on the fucking bridge of that ship, I'm done.
Well, you know there might be one episode of that because he does like that.
I don't know. I mean, if they do it as part of the story, like the crew is having some kind of challenge show or some stupid shit like that. Excuse me.
As long as they make it realistic. Like,
well, I can see it as either
they have like a spirit week
or
on the
something
ship.
that was done through them. A drug or a dream. It's the only 2 things that it...
Well, that would go a little bit too deep into this. Would that go too deep in I haven't seen it yet, so would that go too deep in the sci-fi nature of the show, or would they do something more realistic, like, oh, we've been on the ship for so long, let's do like a spirit month, and we're gonna do
so far they're in close contact with Earth, and they're fast enough to get all that stuff taken care of. But
make no mistake, this is a sci-fi show.
Very, very much.
Comedy. This is not a comedy show that has sci-fi, you know, and I think that's kind of the place where people got, were caught unawares. So, but like I enjoyed it. I had no problem with it. I'm sure it'll take it a while to find its legs, just like every show does, but I think it'll be good. So I think that's all the topics that you specifically wanted to talk about, right?
Yes.
Okay. I did get a couple of suggestions from people. One of them was they wanted us to discuss the shifting allegiances of Captain America in the comics, where he's now a Hydra agent, and what your thoughts are on that.
Well, he's not a Hydra agent. That was torn apart. Fans flip their shit and Marvel changed their mind. That's literally what happened.
Rightfully so, because it's fucking Captain America. I mean, come on.
But that was literally that was all of our points when it happened. Because I was super pissed. I was like, that makes no fucking sense. He wouldn't be able to lift the hammer ever. He would have never been worthy of Thor's hammer. Like, there's so much crap that makes no sense. And then they flipped the switch, and yeah, that wasn't him.
Right. And, I mean, I thought when they first announced it, I reacted like you. I was pissed. I was like, no, this is fucking stupid. It's Captain America. You can't do that. Then I took a step back, and I was kind of intrigued. I was like, well, could be interesting to see how they take it. But, excuse me, if I remember right, the explanation was he was under the influence of someone or something and believed that he has always been an agent of Hydra, and it was just time to bring that to light when it happened. And when I thought that was the direction they were going in, I was like, that's just stupid.
Yeah, I think it only lasted, like 5 issues or something before they essentially, because they had some story done already, before they backtracked and fixed it.
Right. But I wasn't a fan of it. I thought I was going to give it a chance, but I was like, no, and I'm not having it. And I was happy to hear that they changed it back.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that as well, because that was stupid. But as far as him otherwise shifting allegiances, like, unless, do you know if any was specifically referring to that?
He was talking about him going back and forth between being, an Avenger and being a Hydra agent.
Okay. I want to say, because outside of the whole Hydra agent thing, he always changes between Avengers or alone because of who he is.
Well, they all do that shit. on some level. But Ryan, did you have any thoughts on that?
I think Brandon summarized it pretty well. I mean, other than characters going in and out of the Avengers, it's kind of like a cycle. They just move characters in and out. But I mean, I freaked my shit out whenever I read that Captain America was a Hydra agent the whole time, and I was relieved when he wasn't.
I think that was the consensus. I think most people were relieved.
I was shocked to find out that Hulk is no longer Bruce Banner.
Oh, I told you that too. And I like Amadeus Cho too.
Did you know this was that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Amadeus Cho. Do you know of that character at all?
I know the name.
He's a super smart scientist as well, but on the much younger side. And he figured out a way, essentially, to take the Hulk persona and being out of Bruce Banner and into himself.
Well, no, the circumstances that surrounded that is Hulk was in an unstable state because he absorbed a bunch of radiation, and unless someone intervened, and Amadeus Cho was, the second smartest person in the same field as Banner, he said, okay, all right, I'll absorb all the radiation. And that's why he doesn't have the Hulk alter ego, is because that's kind of a subconscious of Banner because of the shit that happened in his backstory with his father.
Right.
So in Amadeus Cho's case, he doesn't have an alter ego, so he has complete control, and he thinks it's amazing. And
he's trying
to hit on girls and
Yeah, he hits on girls and stuff as Hulk.
This sounds dumb.
You have to read it. It's really good. It's a direction that I didn't see coming. I didn't see them taking it in a very...
I don't mind Amadeus Cho as a character, so I don't mind seeing him as the Hulk for a while.
But in the comics, there have been storylines where they separated Banner and the Hulk, but they just ended up being two separate and unique entities.
Well, yeah, I want to say, at least currently Amadeus Cho has Hulk.
Yeah, he has the power and the gamma radiation that lets him turn into the Hulk being.
Now the Hulk is no longer a character; it's a title.
Yes, it's exactly that. It's like a mantle.
Nah. I'm not buying into that. That doesn't sound good.
I'm coming in as I love the Deadpool comics, and I like whenever
I'm
they
just
take
catching
a
up.
character in that direction.
I'm just catching up to it because I'm still reading Secret Wars, but I'm actually in the middle of Secret Wars now. There was a shitload of reading before then, but so now I think it'll be good. I don't know if they'll do it long term, but
Well, part of it came to they had to make that decision to move in a different direction because there's only so many times the Hulk can be either a bad guy and he could be fighting against heroes, or he can be a good guy and completely wrecking everybody else.
well, no, but because they did the new thing where he was Doc Green for a while, and that was nice because he used the whatchamacallit, whatever, not, the Extremis virus. He used Extremis on himself and basically
merge his personalities into one.
It didn't merge. So he was still Hulk and had that. It was still the Hulk persona, and which had nothing to do with Banner himself. But because of the Extremis virus, he became as intelligent as Banner. So now it is a actual super genius Hulk.
Well, isn't that what the Grey Hulk was?
No, well, Grey Hulk was limited in strength, and actually Grey Hulk, I think, had Bruce Banner's persona, where this is still the actual Hulk persona, and he gets very angry on a whim at nothing, but a super genius.
Interesting. Well, I could be interesting to see where that goes. And then, yeah, I agree with you. I'm okay with them taking the character in fresh directions. I'm just, me personally, with the description I've gotten from you without reading it, it doesn't sound appealing. So that's a pretty good one on that. There's another one that I got, which I thought this was pretty interesting. I could not answer this question, but someone posed this question to me today as a topic. If you were a stormtrooper and you were executing Order 66, what music would you listen to? I feel like we need the Jeopardy music playing.
Probably Disturbed, like any other time I play video games. I like to kill things, so I'd probably be listening to Disturbed, Down with the Sickness. That's just
like Drowning Pool, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor.
Oh yeah, perfect.
I actually couldn't come up with.
I'm waiting for Brandon to come in with something like.
Maybe some
he thinks is like hard.
No, I would go with Lindsey Sterling.
Lindsey Sterling, the violinist.
Yeah. Yes, the violin dubstep. I would go with that.
Interesting. I wonder what that says about each individual that answers that kind of question.
That, or I would say another choice. I think good choice. At least to start off with would be Shirk. Haunted was a good song of theirs, or not really a song, but deep.
The one song I thought that might fit the occasion, but I still like
Shrek 2 soundtrack.
No, it was Machine Head by, I think it was Bush.
Oh, all right, yeah.
I could see that one working because that's a song I used to listen to hype myself up to play football.
See, I was thinking Disturbed initially because I'm like, oh, that'd be what I listen to when I play video games. But it would be much more sick if I just listened to like Shrek 2, like the soundtrack for Shrek 2 or Shrek 1.
Oh God.
Like some
Smash Mouth,
like some My Little Pony soundtrack. And I thought that was an interesting question because people tend to do shit to music. So anyway, that's a good one. Moving on. The next one I got was, and I think this is a fairly simple answer, but I thought it was an interesting question. Are Superman's powers superhuman or supernatural?
Technically, neither.
Yeah, it's alien.
Yes, and I think
And
that's
that's
just
and that's a
matter.
that's a stance that not a lot of people take when they look at.
If you're gonna go on the route of superhuman or supernatural, they're for sure superhuman.
Yes, that was my spin on it as well. Particularly because nothing, his powers are rooted in biology.
Yeah, let me say it's an effective radiation. That's it.
Nobody bestowed his powers upon him.
Yeah, it's alien biology.
Shazam is supernatural.
Exactly. His powers are mystical. And speaking of which, Superman is vulnerable to magic. He's vulnerable to the mystical. So, like, I don't think there's any.
Can I tell you who Black Adam is?
Did you tell me who Black Adam is?
Yeah, who they cast?
It's Vin Diesel or the Rock. It's Vin Diesel or the Rock.
Right.
The Rock. Yeah, I forget which one. But, they're supposed to make a standalone Black Adam movie, which kind of interested in seeing how they go about that. Like there's been some conversations that I've been in where they talk about, like, a lot of people seem to have issues with the villains in the MCU and in the DC movies as well, where they're just weak characters, right? And
aside from Vulture.
Right. Aside from Vulture, aside from Loki, I actually kind of like Ronan the Accuser more than most people did. For Black Adam, it could be interesting to have a film that fully fleshes out who this character is, but in doing so, they often make the bad guys not bad, which is not what I want to see.
Well, they're probably going to do that. They're probably going to show how he wasn't he in the Apprentice, he was a good guy.
It depends on how they want to spin it. But if they don't want to make him look to be a good guy, you can always spin it do a movie concentrating on him being a villain, and then his enemy be Shazam, and they just don't do a Shazam movie.
Right.
Well, I think it'd be far more interesting if they showed him going down, like, you know, what they did in the Christopher Nolan things, like you're a good guy long enough until like they don't need you, and then you're a bad guy.
Right.
And he started out as a good guy, and he was trained, and he got the powers and whatever, and then he just took the wrong turn, and his ideology changed. Go
ahead.
And in that ideological change is when he became a villain.
Right. What I would rather see, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what I'd rather see is more of a story arc like they did with Magneto. I think Magneto's story arc is fucking fantastic.
They should have done that instead of Wolverine Origin. Like, they should have done the Magneto movie. It would have been way more.
But, like, you know, you see, like, you understand why Magneto is the way he is. You know,
yes, good character development on him. I'll give you that in terms of that younger generation of X-Men now. Magneto is very well done.
Yeah, I thought that whole story arc throughout all of the movies has been fantastic, and I would like to see more villains developed that way. So if they did a Black Adam movie where that was the intent, where they're going to flesh him out, but he's still going to be a bad guy, I think that's great. I don't want Zangief. It's like, you know, where he's like, it's like, just because I'm a bad guy does not mean I'm a bad guy, you know? It's like, I want them to be bad. Like, Suicide Squad had the same issue. They turned the bad guys into good guys. I don't want them to be good guys. I want them to be bad guys. You know,
that's not why I didn't like Suicide Squad.
Say that again?
That's not why I didn't like Suicide Squad.
Is that why you did not like?
Your reasoning there is not the reason that I didn't like the movie.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Your reason is the reason I did not like Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I mean,
like, I completely resonate with that, with what you said.
I just think if they're going to be a bad guy, they should be bad. They should leave them bad. Like Joker. If they somehow manage to give Joker a fucking soul, I'm going to be pissed. The Joker should just be pure fucking evil.
Well, I mean, if they construct this, if they're doing it, if they go into the direction of an origin story, either they do something completely new, or they show like the effect of one bad day and how that changes the person.
Right.
Because like I try to be a good guy. Like personally, I try to be a good guy, but I know that if something happened to like my wife or kid, like fuck it, I don't give a shit anymore, you know? Like it could personally it could only take one bad day to make me not care anymore and to hit a breaking point, you know?
Right. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Well, not with Joker. I don't want Joker to ever be sane. I want him to come out of the womb holding a knife, going. But I do want to see more movies where the villains get that kind of
level of depth.
Yeah, that character treatment. They get their own arcs that explains who they are and why they are, and yet they are still villains.
And that's why I made like Spider-Man: Homecoming was good, and that's why Vulture was good, is he resonated with real people. Like,
yeah. And even when he wasn't a villain, I still don't think he was a good guy. You know, I mean, I don't think he was evil either, but he's not. He wasn't selfless. He wasn't like he was there to make money.
Yeah,
he was there.
Greed.
That was he got screwed over. Yeah, he got screwed over, and he's like, all right, well now it's on now. But and I thought that was well done. But again, it's Michael Keaton, so it's if they hadn't used him to that extent, I would have been pissed. Kind of like, have either of you seen The Dark Tower?
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
Dark Tower has two fantastic characters in the hero and villain role. Both of them woefully underused. I was so upset. Like
I've heard that.
And Matthew McConaughey both are such good actors, but the characters were written so flatly, and they were just two-dimensional, and they didn't really have any depth to them. They were like everything was right on the surface, and everything was very predictable. They really shit the bed on that one. The Dark Tower series is actually a pretty deep series, and they just didn't. They didn't.
That's what links all of basically Stephen King's universes together.
Yeah. So I don't want to see more of the same of that. I don't want to see more missed opportunities with these villains. Actually, what I would like to see is, and I don't want to see this for every villain because this would get old, but maybe for one series where they show, like a movie where the hero goes through the story and fights the villain and does whatever it is he does, and that story goes through to completion. Then a second movie about the same exact events from the villain's point of view.
Okay.
Yeah. A villain that doesn't think what he is doing is wrong.
Dude, if they do that, just as you described with Venom, that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That would be redeeming for the Venom movie.
Yes. I think it would be, very interesting. But it also, I don't think it's a formula that would translate well to a series of movies being done that way.
No, it'd be like it'd be a standoff movie, but it would set a deeper architecture for like the whole universe that whatever franchise is trying to set it up.
Right, and I think that would be wonderful to do something like that. And I think the closest thing I've gotten to that, and these weren't movies, but are the Force Unleashed video games.
Oh yeah,
where I wanted to see that that time frame where Vader was Vader, but Luke and Leia weren't really involved in a whole lot at that point, and and what he was doing in that. They kind of lost me with the Force Unleashed 2, but it's that kind of point of view is what I'm talking about, like where they spin things around. But there was also a book called Lost Stars. It's from the new canon, and the two characters in that book we follow them their whole lives from the end of episode 3 all the way through episode 6. Right? So you're seeing these two characters that exist in the Star Wars universe while what we already know happened is going on.
Wait, is this what I showed you, Brandon?
Maybe.
I think that's what I showed you.
It's a comic, Jose?
No, it's a book.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe it's different.
Now, maybe they ran a comic. I don't know, but the name of the book is Lost Stars. And I thought it was fucking excellent to see events from somebody else's point of view. And what they did was the two main characters, there was a male and female, and they were obviously, it ended up being the love interest to play off each other. But one of them, well, they both joined the Empire. One of them defects and becomes a rebel. And it's how they each see things that are going on. And the Battle of Jakku is actually fought in that book. And the ship that Rey is scavenging in the beginning of the movie is the ship that crashes in the end of the book.
Okay.
It's really interesting stuff. And I wish we could see more of that on film, on screen. I think that's all the topics I had. Let me check. Talked about the Orville, talked about Captain America, talked about a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, so, there was one thing that video game, Ryan, that you were talking about.
Which one?
Fight of Gods?
The Gods. The War of Gods, whatever.
Oh, Fight of Gods.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
So describe that for people.
I haven't even played it, man.
You told me
about it.
Yeah, I did talk about it quite a bit. It's your Mortal Kombat style video game, but you're fighting with different gods from different religions. And I mean, you get to play as Jesus and fight Buddha, so I guess that's pretty good.
How cool would that be? What about Santa Claus? Can Jesus and Santa Claus fight?
Oh my God, I have to Google that right now.
I don't think Santa Claus is a character.
Because that's the premise of the very first South Park episode.
I see Odin and Zeus and but I don't know what other characters they had.
I think that could be pretty damn funny.
And it looks more like a mix between maybe Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur, because some of them have weapons. Although I know Mortal Kombat did its weapons thing with the Hindu bell.
So what kind of weapon would you... Oh, Jesus is walking around with a big fucking cross and just smacking people with it?
All right. If there's interest in it, I will get it and I will play it. But you can even play as Moses and Odin.
Is your special move parting the Red Sea?
So it's not even strictly related to just gods. Apparently, if you're associated with gods, you're allowed in the club.
So like Jesus comes running at him, all of a sudden he gets smacked by this 2 waves from each side of him.
Stages so far include like Mount Olympus and the Garden of Eden.
Oh boy. Is this game still in development?
Yeah, it's in beta.
It's an early access on Steam. It's only $8.
Yeah.
I mean, so maybe.
If it's only $8 on Steam and there's a multiplayer game, we should probably get it and fuck around.
It is multiplayer.
Oh boy.
When you fight as Jesus, you have parts of the cross attached to your hands.
Nice. So he's still.
Oh yeah, it is. So yeah, he's basically nailed, and he's using that as a fist weapon.
That's awesome.
His divine power is called Resurrection. His super move is the Rapture.
Oh boy.
I think this is actually convincing us more.
Yes. Yes, I could have. That sounds like I could have fun doing this. This sounds like my kind of game.
But I'll just be blatantly clear. Like, I think Brandon would agree. If you're gonna play a fighting game on PC, I think Brawlhalla should be your mainstay. And
I
but
actually
it's also, but Brawlhalla is that's a different kind of fighting game, though. Brawlhalla is
it's Smash.
It's a Smash-like game, or this is more your typical Tekken or Mortal Kombat kind of situation.
But I don't know if you knew this, Ryan, but after our last LAN, I actually started playing Brawlhalla.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I still play occasionally whenever we're not in huge groups. Just trying to make sure I sharpen my skills for the next LAN.
Yeah, I know that they've added characters again.
And I wouldn't say I'm any good at it, but it's fun to play.
I'm decent, I would say. I'm not good.
I think it's definitely more scaled down than your new Smash Brothers games, and it's more akin to the N64 Smash Brothers, which makes me happy. I feel like that they're kind of going overboard with Smash right now, and that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, we were talking about that Fight of Gods one, laughing at it, but have you guys played a game called Smite?
I have once, I think.
I think Smite is kind of like League of Legends, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is.
And it also involves gods, but I don't know that they're all real-world gods. And that's actually got a pretty good following. I have a coworker that plays that damn near every day.
I don't really like League of Legends kind of games, so I don't like MOBAs.
Have you played it?
I did once, yeah. I tried it to. I forget who I played with, but I tried it once. I tried League of Legends. I've tried. What's the Blizzard one, Ryan? Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm.
I've tried Dota. I've tried a couple others at least. I just don't like MOBAs at all.
What's the one where you got Roadhog, you got Junkrat?
Overwatch. But that's
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Yeah, that's a hero shooter.
I mean, kinda.
No, you don't have creeps.
Say again?
You don't have creeps that you deal with and towers necessarily.
Right.
You have a couple types of maps, and that's about it.
It's more like if I was going to compare it to anything, it'd be like the online play for Halo, where it's group against group.
Yeah, and objective based. I mean, everyone knows who Overwatch is now. I think the bigger discussion right now in the gaming community, I mean, it's kind of a flop. So that's kind of why everyone's been talking about it. Is Lawbreakers? Is Cliff Bleszinski's new hero shooter that was supposed to be free to play, and it dropped into the market not full price, but what was it, $39.99 or $49.99? No, $39.99 or $29.99. But it had a player base as low as like 50 players at one time, and everyone was talking about how it was oversaturation of the market in terms of hero shooter, and how everyone's so gung-ho about Overwatch. But last time I tried to get into Overwatch, it took me 5 to 10 minutes just to get into a quick play, and it shouldn't have taken that long. It shouldn't have taken me that long to get into quick play. So
there were that many people queued behind you. There were that many people queued behind you if you waited that long. Or not behind you, but in front of you.
Well, usually if there's that many in queue, they would just set me up with a game, because it's what, 4v4? Or is it 5v5? I'm forgetting.
5v5, I think. I forget too. I don't play that often.
Yeah, but even if there was a queue, it shouldn't have taken me that long to get into a game. It's never closer to the release of Overwatch, it didn't take me that long to get into a game.
There's still a lot of people who play it. So, I mean, I think it's just the queue time because don't they have hosted servers?
I'm not sure.
Because if it's a hosted server, then you're basically waiting in line to get into one of the hosted servers that they have up. So you have queue times.
Yeah, they have dedicated server hosting.
So yeah, you're just hitting queue times because there's that many people, not because not enough people.
Yeah, I can't speak intelligently to that at all. I have no idea.
We gotta get you in Overwatch so that way you can just be edgelord. You can just play as a bro like me. Yeah, you played at our last LAN, right?
No, he played it after that too.
I don't know. I don't think I played Overwatch at the last LAN.
Yeah, he downloaded and installed it, and then we decided to play something else.
Right.
Oh, probably Unreal.
Just playing it by myself. I haven't been with a group of people that I actually know or anything.
But back to what I was saying about Lawbreakers is everyone was saying that it was an oversaturated market, and I don't know if that's entirely the case. I don't know if it was advertising or if so much negative publicity actually decreased the amount of people who were actually interested in playing it. Because I played during beta, and beta had really high numbers, and the game was fun. I thought it brought new depth to the genre, the way the game functioned.
I don't think it's oversaturation. I think that it just bombed, and they had bad rep from what had happened and everything. I don't think anything else.
I mean, I didn't buy it. I played the beta and I thought it was good. When I asked my friends, "Hey, who's going to be playing this game? Should I buy it?" No one spoke up and said, "Hey, I'll buy it and I'll play it with you." So no one said that, so I didn't buy it. And that's kind of the case in point.
I don't really like those kinds of shooters a lot to begin with, so I didn't want to buy another one.
Yeah, and I don't blame you.
I just don't like spending so much money on these freaking games, period.
I don't mind if it's actually something that I like.
I know, $60 for a game just puts me off.
Well, Lawbreakers didn't even come out for that.
Like, I just spent $60 on getting Final Fantasy XII, the remake, and I played through that. It's really good.
I think the only game I spent that much on was I spent $59 on The Force Unleashed when it first came out. And even that
Lawbreakers is currently $22.49 because it's 25% off.
Yeah, see, I could see paying that for a game that I'm going to play.
Well, that's the thing. They have a 25% off on Steam right now, and if the numbers don't go up with how many people are playing it right now, they're going to make it free to play eventually, and that's what a lot of people were counting on. And as negative as it seems, I'm probably in that category of I'll just wait till it goes free to play.
Yeah, even then I still might not play it, even when it's free to play.
Well, I mean, they can make some money from me in the form of microtransactions.
Oh, those microtransactions. I never, ever pay for microtransaction stuff. I think the last game I played that I paid for microtransaction was Travian.
Right.
It was a web-based to help tower defense, but it was kind of like StarCraft.
But it was web-based?
Yeah. So you had to set up alliances and build your bases and build your armies and stuff like that. And it was a real-time war game. So if you wanted to attack a base that was 3 days away, it took you 3 days to get there once you sent the attack.
Like, imagine just traveling a No Man's Sky at base speed, Brandon. That's how long.
I've played some of those games like him. It would take me a long time to get the I used to play this like AA traders or something like that, space traders, and it would take me a long time to get to someone if I wanted to go after them in particular. Especially because you got a certain amount of moves that you can do too, something like at least then.
Did they put that behind a paywall or no? Or it just took that long?
That just took that long. But no, I'm bad about microtransactions. I definitely buy stuff. I bought stuff on Trove. I've spent a total of $120 on Trove. But that's including Patreon stuff over several months and stuff too. So
I spent more than I'd like to admit on just Revelation Online, just for aesthetics.
I'm aware. You bought the $100 pack for your damn cat.
Yeah, just for a flying cat, and because the deluxe had really nice armor.
In Final Fantasy XIV, once the expansion comes out, I spent money to change my race, and so I've done microtransactions that way as well. And same for in World of Warcraft, I bought a mount and a pet at some point.
Well, I understand changing race or changing. All right, not really changing gender, but I understand changing race or changing faction, or I know it doesn't count for Final Fantasy because you can change your class at any time. But in other games, if you wanted to change your class, it'd be they'd have to create a whole new UI for skill point allocation or whatever. But as far as microtransactions, if it's a free-to-play game, I don't mind spending a few dollars here and there for cosmetics. Because as long as it's just for cosmetics. If they put a wall, you have to, the best weapon in the game is behind money, fuck that.
Is that what you're saying? Is that where they lose you?
Yeah, that's where they lose me.
I don't think I've really played a game that's quite pay to win that much.
Well, and that brings into another topic is.
Well, unless it gets to go BDO or something.
Everyone wants to call everything pay to win now. If there's a new MMO, and you do a Google search for YouTube video on it, one of the top 5 things is it pay to win. And I think it comes in varying degrees. So
yeah, I mean, some of the pay to wins, you also have to spend an exorbitant amount of money in order to get all the best stuff if you wanted to. Like Trove, you technically could. If you spent $15,000 or $20,000 on all the shit in the store, yeah, you'll hit max mastery and levels on all your classes and stuff just by paying the money. But
the average person isn't going to spend that much money.
Yeah, I mean, you're not not everyone's going to spend $20,000 in microtransactions on it. So,
well, like a good point that you brought up is BDO. Last time I played BDO, everyone's been harping on, you can buy costumes and you can sell them on the market for in-game currency, and it breaks the game, it breaks the economy. And last time I tried searching for a costume that I wanted on the market in-game, I couldn't find it. Am I going to sit there and put...
Well, that's just outfits, though. That doesn't actually change your stats, does it?
No. None of the stuff in BDO's... As far as I know, none of the items in BDO's marketplace has stats on it that you can't get, other than
what if they allowed you to buy
the EXP bonuses.
What if they allowed you to buy the weapons though?
Yeah, but they haven't.
What if they did?
Well, if they did, then I'd be pissed. But they haven't, and that's why I think the minor things that people are getting pissed off about are minor. I don't go into an MMO and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be the best person in this game. Me and my group of friends are gonna be the best guild or whatever, and we're gonna take the most nodes, and we're gonna make the most money because if we own those nodes, we're gonna make all this revenue, and then with that revenue, we're gonna go and we're gonna buy
Good job, Jose.
15 plus gear.
See, that just sounds like having a job.
That just sounds like having a job.
For some people, it is. For some people, they're sponsored by different groups to play a particular MMO and beat all of the end game bosses fast, and so they have to be, whatever number in the world, first people to do it. Otherwise, they
Well, let them be that. Let them hold that spot and let them have the advantages they need to get to that spot, so that they can show how great the game is at in game or at that level. If that's what being at if being at that level is required for them, but going into it, I don't set that personal requirement for myself.
Yeah, see, I play games to enjoy myself and blow off steam. If it's something where I gotta, do fucking, hours and hours and hours of work, I lose the enjoyment.
I have so many games in my Steam library I haven't even finished. So
dude, I have a lot that I haven't started to.
If they want me to invest that much time into a game, it's better for me to not invest that much time into a game.
Well, I don't mind time investment, but I don't take it as seriously as I used to. Like, I used to, for example, when I played World of Warcraft, I raided 4 nights a week, sometimes 5 if we were really trying to push progression. And that was 3 to 4 hours at a clip. But now, I don't take it that serious at all. If I decided to raid in an MMO, and I'm not now, but if I did, it would be 2 nights max.
Yeah, I tried getting you on Revelation, and you, me, and Mark were probably the most. You, me, Mark, and Steven were the most steady people who I could get to raid with in Revelation. And that was one weekly raid.
I didn't like Revelation setup. So I stopped. I didn't like how what they call raids is not actually raids.
Yeah, it's just a giant damage bullet sponge.
Yeah, it's just a dungeon. I was looking forward to an actual raid.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and get this wrapped up because we're coming up on midnight here.
Yeah, we are.
It was fun. I think Ryan did a pretty good job for his first time. Maybe we'll allow him back. Maybe. And but if there's anything you guys want to hear us babble on about, and as you can see, we can go on in great detail for a while. Just let us know in the comments below, and we'll see if we can work it in. But I'm gonna go ahead and say good night. Brandon, you got anything you want to say?
No, not at the moment.
Ryan?
Nope.
All right. Well, that's that. Y'all have a good one. Take it easy.
Hey, guys.
Yes.